Just a little while ago, I made a video talking about why I think the Boston Celtics should make a trade for Rudy Gobert. It was along the lines of they give up 3 first-round picks, the ones they held, which aren't top-tier first-round picks. That's why I thought you could chuck in 3 first-round picks and Gordon Hayward's contract, send him back to Utah, and then bring in Gobert. Sure, it was a risky trade because you don't know where he's going to sign you. You don't know how much money he's going to ask for. But just my reasoning was I think the Celtics are in a situation where they want to win now. They want to build a solid team around the 2 young stars they have because there's just uncertainty about the league going forward. You don't know which team's going to turn into the next super team. If Dallas sign Giannis and they have Luka, Giannis, and Kristaps, that's a very, very, very hard team to beat. But at the moment, I don't think there's a team that's just so far ahead of everyone else that if the Celtics brought in another piece that could really help them, that they wouldn't be one of the best teams, they wouldn't be the best team in the league, they would be very close to it. So that was my reasoning behind getting Rudy Gobert. And now recently a rumor has come out that they are looking to trade those first 3 round picks like I expected, like I thought they would do. But instead of trading it for an established guy, they want to move up in the draft and potentially get the 3rd piece to fill out the roster. They've already got Jaylen Brown, they've got Jason Tatum, they've obviously got other pieces, but they've got those 2 young stars and they want to get that 3rd one. They want to move up in the draft and secure someone that they know is going to be good. There's guys at 14, there's guys at 26 that could be good, but they know if they get someone at 7, they know if they get someone at 8, they know that with Danny Ainge, if they go up to 7, if they go up to 8, they're pretty comfortable with their chances of getting the next star player that really helps out this team and takes them to that next level, which I think they need to go to. They're just a little bit away from being the best team in the NBA. Not far, but the Celtics need that one extra piece, and I think they might think they've found it in the draft. Now, quickly, before I go any further, if you could drop a like on the video right now, that would be much appreciated. Also, subbing to the channel helps out a lot. It's free, it's easy, and it helps. That would be much appreciated as well. Doing those 2 things really helps out a lot. Anyways, let's get back into the video. Now, with these rumors, I think it's always good to cite the source. You get some questionable sources where you get Twitter rumors. It's from a page called NBA Trade Rumors or something, and it's reporting Ben Simmons is being traded for the 1st overall pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. But aside from Woj and Shams, Kevin O'Connor, who reported this, is very reliable. And to make sense, it's not a crazy rumor. It's just something that seems to make sense that the Celtics would look to move up in the draft. You've got the Wizards, you've got the Pistons, and you've got the Knicks. Look, I don't think the Wizards would be giving up their pick because apparently they're looking to move up in the draft as well, so it doesn't seem to make sense that a team looking to move up higher than 9 would want to move down to 14. So I think it's out of the Knicks and the Pistons, and I think there's reason to believe either of these teams could be interested in making a trade. You look at the Pistons, as a Pistons fan, I know they're looking for a point guard. They've been rumored to be after Halliburton, they like LaMelo Ball, but maybe they think they can get a Tyrell Terry, a Kira Lewis, or even someone like a Patrick Williams, RJ Hampton. These are guys they've been linked with later in the draft and then pick up a couple of solid role players as well. So it makes sense that the Pistons might be a team, if they think they can get a point guard that they need to fill a position of need at 14, and then they get a couple of extra picks as well, then maybe they trade with the Celtics. Maybe the Celtics chuck in someone like a Langford as well, someone that I think Detroit were interested in before. Maybe you switch out Langford for the 26th pick or something. I don't know how Celtics fans would feel about that. He didn't do particularly well this year. I didn't see enough of him to say if he's going to be good or not, but I don't think he's going to be in the rotation anytime soon, so maybe you do that and then just secure that 7th pick where you can go and get someone that you know is going to be in your rotation as soon as next year. And then I think the Knicks are in the same kind of category. Apparently they have been interested in trading down. There's concrete rumors that the Knicks want to trade down. So with that in mind, securing one of the 7th or 8th pick, I think the Celtics would have their eyes set on 2 different players. I think you have Killian Hayes would be one, and then Onyeka Okongwu. Both of them fit different needs, but both of them do fit needs, and both of them have very high ceilings, and could potentially be that 3rd star in their team, or at the very least, a very good young 3rd player to match with the 2 young players they already have. Now let's start with Hayes. Some people think Hayes is the best prospect in the draft, so you're thinking, if the Celtics can get the best prospect in the draft to match with who they already have, that's absolutely insane, but it's not as simple as that. Some people think he's the 10th best prospect, some people think he's the 2nd, the 1st. It's really, really even draft where pretty much anyone you ask has a different opinion on who they think's the best player, but what you're getting from Hayes is think of a Goran Dragic, a D'Angelo Russell, those kind of left-handed guys who are great playmakers. He's great in the pick and roll. He can score at all 3 levels. He can get to the rim. He can shoot from the mid-range. He did struggle from 3-point range a bit. There's enough to suggest from his mid-range shooting and his free throw shooting that he can rectify that. That's not something that I think's a done deal. I think he could definitely become a solid 3-point shooter, unlike guys like Denny Avdija, who look like they might not be able to do that because of their free throw shooting. Hayes has shown enough from the mid-range and from the free throw line to suggest he could stretch that out to the 3-point line. Then also factor in that he's played professionally, so he might be more ready than some other prospects. And then the main thing is the fit. You're bringing in someone that you need at the backup point guard spot. Sure, Wanamaker's an underrated player. I like Wanamaker as a role player, but I don't think he moves the needle enough. And the backup point guard spot is very crucial for a championship level team. It has been quite some time. You look at Rondo, impacted the Lakers so much when he came onto the floor and helped that second unit. You look at past years with even guys like Sean Livingston, who is a very solid role player as well, and then Hayes might be able to do that in his first couple of years before he develops into something more, and they might want him to develop into something more and take Kemba Walker's starting spot, because Kemba Walker has had struggles with his knees and they don't know how bad it'll be. Like, there's a chance that he's going to need to load manage a fair bit of next year. So to bring in someone that can take that starting spot, that's a very enticing prospect, because Kemba Walker's knees could see him miss multiple games in a row, and you're going to need to bring in someone that makes sure that his knees are in a good enough situation that he can go come playoff time, and Killian Hayes does that. He's someone that can come in, he's played professionally, he can make an impact, and I think he can be a good replacement for Kemba Walker maybe down the line, and a good fill-in as soon as next year. And then you have Onyeka Okongwu. Okongwu's a completely different player, obviously. He's a center, a power forward, a very versatile defender, which is why Boston would be so interested in him. You know they love their versatile defenders. You've got the Grant Williams, the Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Browns. They love their versatile defenders, and Okongwu fits that bill. He's probably got more defensive upside than anyone on their team, and they've got a lot of good defenders, but his verticality, his strength, his rim protection, these are all things that he showed, and there's a reason he's being compared to Bam Adebayo, the guy that tore the Celtics apart. They're trying to get him 2.0 because they need someone to stop that kind of player, and Okongwu could be that kind of guy, someone that can switch onto the perimeter and guard guards if he needs to, someone that's going to do his best work in the post, but he's got the versatility to switch onto the perimeter, and that's the main thing. You're going to have a versatile center rotation with Tice, Williams, and now Okongwu. That's another position of need, and I could see Okongwu being a great fit as well. Offensively, he's not a finished product by any means, but he does seem to have a nice touch. Like, you can see guys, when they're at the mid-range spot, when they're just around the rim, they have a nice touch. It's unlike guys like Andre Drummond's, not to throw shade. He's kind of developed that over time. Guys that just look uncoordinated, that's quite a common thing with centers. He doesn't look like that, and when you see someone that looks coordinated, that's athletic, that's versatile, that can move side to side, it just means that I think there's room for improvement offensively. I don't know if Okongwu's going to make the same immediate impact as a Hayes, because it's just natural that centers, power forwards don't come in and make the same impact as point guards can make because of the size difference. But I could still see him coming in and make an impact. But going forward, he might be the piece they need to round out what they have with two great young wings. Maybe they're trying to get in a rim protector that rounds out that and makes it a great three-piece combo. Look, I think the Celtics are going to do something. Obviously, that's been rumoured, and I think it just makes sense. They're a team that's in a window where they can win now. They've got Hayward, they've got Smart, they've got Kemba Walker, whose debilitating knees could hold him back going forward, and I think Brown is ready to take another step. He looked fantastic in the playoffs, particularly the last series he played against the Heat, where he might have outplayed Jason Tatum. Obviously, Jason Tatum's like a top 15 player in the league now, and he could be a top 10 player in the league as soon as next year. You've got him and Jaylen Brown. You're ready to compete. Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Gordon Hayward. But bring in someone like a Killian Hayes who can come off the bench or can fill in when Kemba Walker's out, and I think that could make a huge difference for them going forward, not just next year, but for the foreseeable future. You could look back at this trade a few years from now and think the Celtics really set up their team by moving up in the draft order and just going all in on one option. Danny Ainge has a history of being able to secure a great pick earlier in the draft. Later in the draft, he's okay, but earlier in the draft, he does really well. So the Celtics should have enough confidence in Ainge being able to select the right player, and I think Hayes or Okongwu would be one of those guys. Maybe you have a Halliburton or a Wiseman if he somehow slipped through. Those are obviously options as well, but I think Hayes and Okongwu are the two main ones, and I can see why, because they're great fits and they're great players with high upside and high potential to not just come in and make a difference over the next 5 years, but over the next year as well. If you did enjoy the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. As I said, it really helps out a lot. Also, if you made it to the end of the video and you haven't subbed, that would be appreciated if you did so. Helps out a lot as well. Other than that, I'll catch you next time. Bye.